May I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I so move.
I'll second it.
Mr. Kersnich is aye. Mr. Hawkins?
Aye.
Mrs. Duncan?
Aye.
Mrs. Robertson?
Aye.
She's not here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And my next order of business is visitors' comments. Ladies, do you want to comment? No? Okay. We'll move right along then.
That was a comment. I said that was a comment.
Do we have any governing board reports? The superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President. Summer school today was the third day of summer school for secondary students, 7th through 12th grade. Our numbers are approximately, and add all the periods together, between 20 and 25 at least per teacher. A little better than I thought they'd be. I was just looking at one this evening. Person had 38 students a day in 5 periods. The lowest I've seen is about 18, except for special ed. Special ed has more numbers. So I hope that the students are benefiting from this. We're trying to help students pick up on some of the lost time during the school year. Mr. Edmonds on vacation this week. He will return next week and probably take vacation after that the remainder of the month. Thank goodness Dr. Jabolz is here. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate the board supporting him being here a month before his official contract. I've been in his shoes and walking into my office a number of years ago and the desk looking like it does right now and selling a house full of boxes, it was kind of a stressful month. So I appreciate the fact that the board supported him coming a month early. He was able to do that. So I was going to formally introduce him last week. He's been on campus, obviously, cruising around. We've met probably once a day for a few minutes and talked about things, dealing with instruction for the subsequent year. So hopefully it's been a good experience for both of us. SFB is kind of a challenge these days, School Facilities Board. We're working on a project, I've mentioned this before, we're still having a few hurdles, in my opinion, placed in front of the district. We have about a $1.4 million roofing project we're trying to get done. When I was younger and more naive, about 6 months ago, I thought we'd have it done maybe during the summer. Every superintendent, school principal wants this kind of work done in the summer because it's more safe for our students. That's not happening. School Facilities Board, in fact, there was a bill before the legislature this past week to dissolve the do away with the Facilities Board. It never got out of committee, thank goodness. The Facilities Board, there's been discussion to make it not a specific board, but make it part of the administrative function of the state government. And in fact, the acting director right now is the director, basically, of the government. His name is Andy Tobin. Andy Tobin was instrumental here a couple of years ago when Auto Improvement was trying to raise the rates. At that time, he was chairman of the Corporation Commission. He was not in support of the raising of rates. He was not in alignment with his party. He was putting a little bit of pressure on APS because of rates and service. And so the governor offered him a job. He was elected, so the governor couldn't take him out of office. The governor offered him a substantial job. He took it. So then the governor could appoint someone. The next vote, as you recall, Auto Improvement received the increase in rates. But Andy Tobin is ultimately in charge of SFB right now. It's got more complicated. They're fighting for a budget with the legislature every year. And the older the schools in Arizona become, the more upkeep is necessary. So I think that's part of the problem. We did get approval. We had one classroom, the refrigeration unit. Mr. Yon has fixed it several times and went out. And I've raised this issue with them. We don't have funds from SFB. If we use our own capital monies, they won't reimburse us. So we obviously want to use as many SFB dollars as we can. It took them 7 weeks get one unit approved. We finally got approval this week. Angelina was working with the substitute of our liaison. I think that may have expedited. About 2 weeks ago, our HVAC company was here to do work on the gym project. And it cost a lot of money to bring a crane down here from Phoenix. And while they were here, they asked me, said, we think we're gonna get the job to do the one on this individual room. Said, can we go ahead and put it on the roof? I said, yes. So finally now it should be equipment dirty projects. The teacher, hopefully by summer school, second summer school, will be back in the regular classroom. So it's a frustration that we learn to live with. Before you leave tonight, hopefully the board will approve the proposed budget. I'd like to reiterate some of the things that Leanne said Monday night. This has happened before about 3 times in the last 15, 20 years, where we had to have budget forms for the state approved budget. It's awkward. I think it happened one of the years I was business manager. And the budget forms, the worksheets were 18 pages at that time, and legal pages. I haven't done it for a while, so I'm not sure how many. It's a lot of work, let's put it that way. So it will be necessary for us to have a budget revision probably in September or October again. We usually do that in December and May, but the budget is going to be our best guess because we don't know how much money we're getting. We're not knowing by that, I mean, we're not being told how much if the change for ADM is going to go up or go down. 301, that's going to change and so on and so forth. So we got a couple of challenges there, but please sign that so we can get that in. We have to have, on the next board meeting, we will have the adoption of the budget. I hope we have a budget that we can do that with. We have to have a minimum of 15 days, and we can't go past July 15th. The next board meeting is July 14th, so it's good planning. We have on Facebook, it starts putting the word out if anybody's talking to you, and we will be sending communications to parents and probably put it on the marquee. I will ask the board in July to approve the opening of school on August 9th. I hope Arizonans use their judgment. Last summer, if you recall, July was a tragedy as far as the spike in COVID-19. I was very disappointed at our 8th grade promotion, not in the kids. I was disappointed in the percentage of them that got enough work done to be promoted. Less than half. 18 out of 30, no, 18 out of 32, so this is just more than half. That's very, very poor. Our high school graduation rate was much better than I expected. While we've been running the low 90s, even with COVID, we had 87%. No student that was here the first year, in quotation marks, the first day of school, no senior was not here able to walk graduation night. So 3 of the kids came real close. A couple of them had classes they didn't need to graduate. And so basically they were encouraged to drop those classes because they didn't graduate so they could finish other things. Those students that were working hard, I talked to one parent, said, how long is it taking your children to do the ingenuity work every day? And they said, well, from 8:15 to 3:15. So in their house, school is school hours. And so those kids have no problem. But where students I know are left alone sometimes supervised, it has to happen when parents work, kids sometimes to pass. So I'm happy that 8th grade high school graduation was that good. It's still significantly above the state average. And I think if we have all the students on campus, there's more of the relationship building with their peers and with adults when they're here than it is in front of the screen. And it's not why we do it. But every day I've talked to on campus, that's a teacher or an educator, they want to see the kids around. So hopefully that'll happen. We'll do more communicating with families. The comments last Monday night on Call in Public. I respect and honor citizens being able to come and call the public. Without going into any details, I won't do that. The comments were replete with error, not necessarily from the person that made the comments. I was never asked about any of the things that were brought up. I don't know if any of you were, but it was I was amazed at how much misinformation was there, just to let you know that. Also, we need to have more than one side story. If we can do that, I think it'll be more successful. Several months ago, we had a board meeting where we had some pretty sensitive topics. And I remember a comment being made, we had a unanimous vote on something that I was, I think that may have been April, May board meeting. And I think it's important in our country, this is Bob Lewis political sandbox real quick. We are discouraged, I'm discouraged, let's put it that way, but what I see happening at the national level and the lack of cooperation, I would sure hate to see that here. If we can do anything to avoid that, I think it's better for our kids and better for our staff and everybody else. So I'll shut up. Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome.
Can I ask one question about part of that? Or-
Go ahead.
Okay. Since I run the GED program in town, got a unique perspective on things. I was approached recently by the parent of somebody who is young and will have to be repeating ninth grade. They came to me because they're thinking about pulling their student out of the school for the GED program. And in my opinion, it's the person's far too young to have an easy time going through a GED program, since it's all so. I'm wondering if there's something that the district can do for students who, like the eighth graders that didn't transition or anybody else that was, can we write something to them explaining that given what the COVID year was like, that they're not in an unusual situation and that there's really not that there shouldn't be a shame or a stigma associated with it. In my mind, this person was like, well, now high school is going to take 5 years instead of 4. And in my mind, I'm thinking, really, you learn something until you've learned it. And if it takes longer than that to get that level, then it's, but I'm just wondering if we could do something to encourage, like write something to those students we know were being held back to give them an extra boost of encouragement to not look straight at dropping
You have to
out.
be careful because this would be violation of the meeting law.
Yes.
GED, as you all know, the person has to be 16 to sign up
Mhm.
at least. What we've done here, and I think this is kind of stretching, well, I've got a topic here, summer school. So one of the things that we've tried to do with summer school is typically this month is secondary. And so we had 7 through 12,
Mhm.
because that's secondary. Next month, we get Jumpstart, and that's elementary. Well, at one point, we were talking about K3, we let that bar down. I want it to be K8. So theoretically, students who are unsuccessful with eighth grade promotion could have the 2 weeks in June and then the 2 weeks in July. That may not do it, but Dr. Travolta and I have talked several times. If you have a medical doctor, a surgeon who says, well, the surgery was a success, but the patient died, that's what happens to us when the kid doesn't pass.
Yes.
And this is going to sound maybe out of the norm, but at least after third grade, there's no research that I've ever found. I've been working on this for 30 years, more. Yeah, and more. Anyway, that shows that from retaining a kid helps them learn.
Mhm.
Now, that's easier to deal with in K8 setting than a 9-12 departmentalized.
Oh, yeah.
Because the state says we have certain specific requirements. So one of the things that we've talked about, and we don't know how we do it right now. If a student comes up to us the 8th of August, school starts next day, and they've got everything done and looks good, then we're ready to go for high school. So
Dr. Dooley, I understand trying to get, but I would hate for us to have a open meeting law violation, so I
But
think.
is
we
that
should
open
start-
meeting because we asked a question about your report?
Well, because it's on the report and it wasn't
It was on the report.
yes, but unless we put exactly what he's talking about on there, technically can't delve into it more.
I
You never
never
have any
agree.
specifics down under superintendent's report.
Right,
No.
and we can't ask questions or have any discussion on any of those things.
Oh, that's why I asked if I could ask a question.
Yeah, I think
Now-
that's wrong because sometimes what you have in the report, we need to have a question or the discussion.
Now, if the board would say, hey, we'd like to hear this in your report, and we put it on the agenda underneath superintendent's report for that specific one,
Yeah.
then, yeah, we can
Okay.
question it till the cows come home. But,
We don't know what's
it-
gonna be on the
It
report
can be
till
a
he
gray
gives
area,
it.
but that's what I'm saying, like, if it's something the board say, hey, can you report on this during your superintendent's report, then we
put it
can
in there.
I'll
itemize.
talk
it.
about that some
Yeah.
more, word letter.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, the first order is the certified classic employment for July 2021 elementary jumpstart. Jumpstart for elementary students will be July 12th to the 16th, and to July 19 to 23. Teachers will work 6 hours per day and 8 days, pending the number of students to teacher ratio. Did we do, I thought we did the consent agenda.
No, we did not.
Okay, all right, we'll go back. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so move.
I'll second it.
So I'll,
Put Andy,
Andy,
yes.
second.
Yeah.
Mr. Kersnich is aye. Mrs. Robertson?
Aye.
Mrs. Duncan?
Aye,
Mr. Hopkins?
Aye.
Deputy Zeppelin, 4-0.
okay.
Now we can move on.
Teachers recommended to teach for the June summer school are Shelley Aricon, Rayleigh Melendres, Kara Stalker, Narashu Beltran, Daryl Palente, Anna Silvano, Mary Grace Robles, Richard Rigadone. The paraprofessional teacher's aides are being recommended also as one-on-one aides if their students are in attendance. Alejandra Figueroa, Sherry Simpson, Maria Marcia Martinez, Bernadine Tamio, and Maria Villa Silva. And Dr. Dooley recommends that we hire these teachers and paraprofessionals. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Mr. Hopkins?
Aye.
Mrs. Robertson?
Aye.
Mrs. Duncan?
Aye.
And Mr. Kersnich is aye.
Next is approval of summer school employment. Teachers for June summer school were approved at the May 12th board meeting. The administration is requesting permission to employ 2 paraprofessionals as one-on-one aides for special aid education. Employment of the aides depend on the attendance of their students. Aides will be paid their hourly rate for 5 hours per day. The aides that are recommended are Rafael Duran and Patricia Mendez. And Dr. Dooley recommends that we approve the hiring of these paraprofessionals. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Mr. Kersnich is aye. Mr. Hopkins?
Aye.
Mrs. Duncan?
Aye.
Mrs. Robertson?
Aye.
The next order is a classified resignation of a paraprofessional teacher aide, Laurie Daniels. Laurie Daniels has submitted a resignation as a parapro and was effective May 21, 2021. And superintendent also recommends the resignation of Laurie Daniels. Do I hear a motion? And I'll second it.
Kersnich is aye. Mrs. Duncan?
Aye.
Mrs. Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Hopkins?
All right.
Motion passed.
The next one is classified resignation of paraprofessional teacher aide, Luis Anna Torres. Luis Anna Torres has submitted her resignation as a parapro effective May 26, 2021. Superintendent recommends the resignation of Luis Anna Torres as a school professional, paraprofessional. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Mrs. Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Hopkins?
Aye.
Mrs. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Kersnich is also aye.
Okay. The next order is a classified reassignment. Francis Lopez, with board approval, was reassigned from the position of a paraprofessional to serve as the food service assistant manager. She is requesting to be returned to the position as a parapro as of July 1st, 2021. And the superintendent recommends that reassignment of Francis Lopez. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I'll second. Mr. Hopkins.
Aye.
Mr. Curtis Bridges, aye. Mrs. Robertson.
Aye.
Mrs. Duncan.
Aye.
Motion passed.
Okay. The next is a classified employment of a cafeteria worker, Fernanda Osario. Fernanda Osario has been interviewed and reference checks completed for the position of a cafeteria worker. And the superintendent recommends the employment of Fernanda Osario for the cafeteria. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Mrs. Robertson.
Aye.
Mrs. Duncan.
Aye.
Mr. Hopkins.
Aye.
Mr. Curtis Bridges, aye.
And the last order under personnel is the extra pay positions. The administration is seeking board approval for the extra duty stipends to the following staff members. Class advisor freshman, Donnell Conley. Class advisor senior, J. Abaha and C. Ericon. Special ed is Mary Shoup Beltran. Athletic director, Jose Yan. Athletic coordinator, Asila Monez. Yearbook advisor, Donnell Conley. EL coordinator, M.A. Damalanta. High school student council advisor, Mercy Ericon. CTE and JTED director, Chad Chidley. And Power School Tech Monitor, Babu KC. The superintendent recommends the approval of all of these extra duty position stipends for the individual staff members listed. Do I hear a motion?
Also moved.
I'll second it.
Mr. Curtis Bridges, aye. Mr. Hopkins.
Aye.
Mrs. Robertson.
Aye.
Mrs. Duncan.
Aye.
Motion passed.
All right, we move on to business. The first is approval and an advertisement of proposed budget. The administration has prepared the proposed 2022 fiscal year budget for the board review. The proposed budget is being recommended for approval, and the administration is asking permission to advertise the proposed budget per ARS 15-905. Superintendent recommends the board approve the AUSD proposed fiscal year 2022 expenditure budget and allow the administration permission to advertise the budget per ARS 15-905. Do I hear a motion?
Also moved.
I'll second it.
Mr. Curtis Bridges, aye. Mrs. Duncan.
Aye.
Mr. Hopkins.
Aye.
Mrs. Robertson.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next is a approval for the change of signers for the district checking account. To help the district guarantee checks and balances on our accounts with the National Bank of Arizona, a request is being made, recommendation from the auditor, for the board to approve the change of signers on the AUSD account. The recommended signers are going to be Robert F. Dooley, Lance Schultz, and Venus Gallerina. Superintendent recommends that we approve all of the AUSD bank account signatures with the National Bank of Arizona. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
I'll go ahead. Mr. Hopkins.
Aye.
Mrs. Robertson.
Aye.
Mrs. Duncan.
Aye.
Mr. Curtis Bridges, aye. Motion passes.
The next is approval of the intergovernmental agreement, JT Educational District, which is Joint Technical Education District. According to the Pima County JTED and its satellite, the Ajo Unified School District, agreed to an intergovernmental agreement, IGA, for the operation of the JTED program. The agreement is attached. Superintendent recommends the approval of the attached intergovernmental agreement between JTED and the Aho Unified School District. May I hear a motion?
Seconded.
Okay.
Kersnich is aye. Mrs. Robertson?
Aye.
Mrs. Duncan?
Aye.
Mr. Hopkins? Motion passes 4-0.
Next is approval of disposal of library books. Donnell Conley has weeded the school library and is seeking board permission to discard 519 library books. These books are recommended for disposal based upon the lack of circulation and condition. And the superintendent recommends that the attached list of books be approved for disposal. And we're not just going to throw them away, are we? No. We can send them to other poor school districts, or there's lots of things we can do with them. Okay. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
I see a book I want on the list.
Cherry picker.
Hmm?
Cherry picker. Mr. Hopkins?
Aye.
Mr. Kersnich is aye. Mrs. Robertson?
Aye.
Mrs. Duncan?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
The last business, second reading approval, board policy GCQE, retirement of staff members. Per board discussion, the attached governing board policy GCQU, retirement of professional support staff members, was submitted to the district attorney for approval. His recommendation and approval are attached along with a comparison of the two versions. And I know we had a lot of discussion Monday night on this. Did they get straightened out?
We tried to straighten out everything we can recollect from the recording.
Okay. May I hear a motion that we approve or,
I have a comment. The, as here and after defined is still in there. And I thought you were going to line that out. Here and after defined should be removed. Also, if everyone agrees, just the all staff, if we remove the all, I think that could be a point of confusion. It's not all staff, it's a specific set of staff. Because you're going to find it just be all. It's not all.
Well, it's every staff has sick
Shall be entitled.
leave.
Entitled does everything. All staff shall be entitled. to accumulated.
All staff is entitled.
Um,
Why wouldn't someone? Yeah, why wouldn't someone?
I guess they're entitled to, but they might not be eligible.
Oh, yeah,
Is that what
yeah.
you mean?
Well, that's,
Yes, so,
that's covered by the first part of the sentence. I mean, we're done with that, just not having been here long enough to get that benefit.
they have the right.
Because that's, I mean, as I'm reading it, that's in the first part, upon retirement, after 4 years of employment, all staff will be.
Eligible
Yeah.
for all staff.
Mhm.
I think we're good.
So I think it works like,
Just the as here and
Yeah.
after defined.
what was the other line that you're, I didn't catch what you, the first one you mentioned?
Yeah, as here and after defined just before all.
It's under sick leave upon
Oh,
retirement,
okay.
the second line down.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Just approve with that deletion.
okay,
Okay, so we're voting to approve it with that deletion of those.
all right. May I hear a motion to approve attached policy
So moved.
GCQE with the attached,
Are you done with this policy, Rodney?
So moved.
Who seconded that?
That was me. Mr.
Sorry,
Hopkins?
person.
it's all right.
Got an aye. Mr. Kersnich is an aye. Mrs. Robertson? Aye. Mrs. Duncan?
Aye.
4-0.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, put
Good.
that baby to bed.
Good, good. I presume that we're tabling the curriculum and
Correct.
instruction.
I may talk about that just real quickly. Dr. Schmaltz and I met with teachers today on this very topic. And one of the teachers was here today, but looking a little shaky. And the other teacher volunteered to do this entirely by themselves. I said, no, I'd like to see you as a team. We talked a lot about the whole reading process for kids and things we want to do next year. And what things we want to do with staff for part of staff development this summer, which will be attached to it's the Jumpstart. And so we will bring this back to the July 14th,
Third,
12th,
12.
the first of the Monday, board meeting, study session, so hopefully everybody will be well with it. These are two teachers who have talked about this, and one of the best conversations we've had this week is to talk about instruction, and it's good stuff, so I think you'll benefit.
Is there any person on the governing board that has an item they wish added to agenda items?
I don't have the agenda as now, but I will be asking for a special meeting third week of this month possible. So we can discuss some items shortly. I don't have them with me right now, so I don't want to go over them specifically. And this,
What dates are you thinking of? This-
well, I would like to see what the board is available for. I am great for Monday, the 21st through Thursday, the 24th.
I am gone the 22nd through the 25th. The 21st might be too busy getting ready for a trip.
The week before, Tuesday, the 15th through Friday, the 18th.
I'm gone on vacation.
You're gone.
Yeah.
How about the 28th, 29th, 30th?
What did you just say?
28th, 29th, and 30th, it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I know summer's really hard for everybody.
Those would work for me, either one of those.
Me too.
You're
Yeah.
good?
That's fine.
Pretty sure those work.
Okay, then,
We
you
can
want to,
talk tomorrow and we can start working on the agenda.
yeah. That'll
Which
work.
date are you gonna approve?
Shall we shoot for, is Tuesday, the 29th good? June
Yeah.
29th? 5 o'clock, 5:30? No?
No?
Not for me, because that's Tuesday and Thursday I drive to Gavotte and teach with students, and I'm not usually back in town.
Are we okay with a Monday?
Yep.
Yeah, Monday, since that's a usual
Okay, so,
meeting night.
yeah, so Monday, the 20th, you want to do it at 5?
Or really everybody else does.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. If there's no further business, then, no other, I will adjourn this meeting at 6:05.
Don't forget to sign the budget, please.
Yeah, the book I was interested in was